And we're going to slide into our next and last sport for the show. We have a lot of games. This will probably be a 20-minute segment. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Cleveland taking on the White Sox. 2:10 Eastern first pitch in Chicago, guaranteed rate field. Cleveland opened betting as the $1.65 favorite, total at 8.5. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a nickel move toward Cleveland and no movement on the total. Cleveland's now minus 170. Total remains 8.5. Once again, Cleveland opened 165 up to minus 170. Total's 8.5. 67% of the consensus is leaning toward Cleveland. 58% shaded toward the under. Right now, the White Sox are plus 155 on the money line at home. Cleveland minus 105 on the run line. Carlos Carrasco slated on the bump for Cleveland. Manny Banuelos for the White Sox. Banuelos is 2-2 with a 6.67 ERA. The White Sox are also striking out 9.73 times per contest at the plate. They're also ranking 26th in runs allowed. Cleveland on the other side, they are 4th in runs allowed on the road and 4th in hits allowed on the road. Total-wise, Cleveland is 15-7 to the under away from home. Give me the Indians minus 170 and the under 8.5 in that matchup there. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to give a couple quick shout-outs brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Got to give a shout-out to Nenad Markovic, G&G, the Stogie Man. Also, big ups to the Mac. Got to say hello to Kenneth Rotten to the Core. Makeem Moses, Proline Master, the U-Dog, Ulysses Hayes. My good friend Stephen Lewis, Jerry, we the best. No, Jerry, you're the best. Chuck Pinter. Jamie, you was right. I was wrong. Jamie Wong. Get Sports Strong. My man Dave. What's going on, Dave? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you in the chat box. Get Sports Strong. Great YouTube channel. Go ahead and check him out. Dom Smith, who says, stop with the ads. I'm sorry, Dom. I got to do a better job than that. I will do my best to remove those ads from my channel. I can't stand them either. Got to give a shout out to Will Smith. Will, I love your albums. Big Willie Style. Great album you did 20 years ago. Excellent job. And then last but not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Danny Rollin, a Big Fat J. Danny J, what's going on? Guys, check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage. That is my website. We do daily plays on that site. There's a lot of free content there as well. Memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. And like I said, we've been absolutely crushing it on Patreon. We're 4-1 in our last 5 daily best plays, 6-2 in our last 8 best friends plays, and 7-1 in our last 8 NHL plays. Once again, 7-1 in our last 8 NHL plays. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. Link is in the description section below. Let's go ahead and hop back into some more lines and personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Baltimore, New York Yankees. 6:35 Yankee Stadium. The Yanks open 250, total 8.5, 10-cent move downward on the money line, movement upward on the total, 240 and 9 flat. Once again, the Yankees open 250, down to 240, total open 8.5, up to 9. 71% are leaning Yankees, 68% shaded toward the over. Right now, Baltimore's plus 220 on the money line, Yankees plus $1.05 on the run line. Cashner for the O's, Happ for the Yanks. Baltimore's 26th in road scoring. Yankees 6-2 in their last 8. Scoring-wise, Baltimore 75% to the under in their last 8. Give me the Yankees minus 1.5 and the under 9. Cubbies, Reds, 640 Cincinnati. Cubbies open $1.15, total 8.5. 15-cent move toward the Reds. 15-cent move toward the Cubs. Movement upward on the total. That's why I repeat everything. Once again, Chicago open 115 up to minus 130. Total open 8.5 up to 9. 63% are leaning Cubs, 60% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Reds are plus $1.15 on the money line. Cubs plus $1.15 on the run line. Hendricks for the Cubs, Roark for the Reds. Hendricks comes into today's game with a 3.19 ERA. The Cubbies also come into today's game first in road scoring, first in road hits, first in road walks. Offensive juggernaut. Cincinnati on the other side, 13-4 to the over away from home. Cincinnati, 70% to the over in their last 10. Give me the Cubbies minus 130 in the over 9 in that game. Next matchup, Brewers, Phillies, 7:05 Citizens Bank Park. Good old-fashioned flip of the lines in this one. The Brewers open the betting as the $1.05 underdog. Total at 9. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a 25-cent move toward the Brewers, up to minus 120. Total move down to 8.5. Once again, the Brewers open plus 105, up to minus 120. Total open 9, down to 8.5. 51% are leaning Brewers, 52% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Phils are plus 105 on the money line. Woodruff for the Brewers, Eichhoff for the Phils. Woodruff's 5-1 with a 4.25 ERA. Jared Eichhoff is 2-1 with a 1.50 ERA for the Phillies. Now, Philadelphia is 8th in runs scored, 3rd in home walks. They're also excellent at Citizens Bank Park. They're 15-7 straight up at home this year. They're also 4-1 straight up in their last 5 at Citizens Bank Park. Milwaukee on the other side, they've dropped 4 out of their last 5 taking on the Phils. They're also just 8-11 away from home, so winners in just 8 out of 19 away from home this year. The Brewers are also striking out 9.7 times per contest. I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this matchup here, behind the very strong arm of Jared Eichhoff, who's off to a very hot start. Give me the Phillies plus 105 in the over 8.5 in that game. Next matchup, Mets, Nationals, 7:05 Washington. The Mets open 150, total at 8. Nickel move toward the Mets. Movement upward on the total. Minus 155, 8.5. Once again, the Mets open 150 up to minus 155. Total open 8 up to 8.5. 69% are leaning Mets, 53% shaded toward the under. Right now, Washington's plus 140 on the money line. Mets plus 105 on the run line. We have Syndergaard for the Mets, Hellickson for the Nats. Now, Syndergaard's just 2-3 with a 5.14 ERA. Hellickson on the other side, 2-1 on the year. Washington's also averaging 10.33 strikeouts per game at home from their pitching staff. Give me the Nationals plus 1.5 in the under 8.5 in that game. Next matchup, Rockies, Red Sox, 7:10 Boston. The Red Sox open 260 up to minus 270. Totals at 8. 71% are leaning Boston, 66% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Rockies are plus 245 on the money line. Boston minus 135 on the run line. We have Freeland for the Rockies, Sale for Boston. Who would have thought that Freeland would be the $2.70 dog, or I'm sorry, $2.45 dog in this one? Crazy. But once again, Freeland for the Rockies, Sale for the Red Sox. Chris Sale is just 1-5 with a 4.50 ERA, if you didn't know already. Colorado's also been winners in 4 out of their last 6. They rank 6th in hits on average, and they're 12-8 against the spread away from home. Now, when I refer to the spread in Major League Baseball, I'm actually referring to the run line, as I say in every video. So once again, the Rockies 12-8 against the spread in their 20 games away from home this year. One more thing to add about Colorado, they are 5th in run roads allowed. Very good in many different categories. Now, Boston on the other side, they rank 26th in walks allowed at home. You do not want to put runners on base when playing Colorado. Now, total-wise, Boston is 25-16 to the over so far for the season, 14-9 to the over at home. Give me Colorado plus 1.5 in the over 8 runs in that game. Next matchup, Rays, Marlins. 7:10 Eastern first pitch in Miami. Give me the Rays minus 140 in the under 6.5 in that game. Next matchup, Houston, Detroit, 7:10 Detroit. Houston open 180, total 9.5. A lot of line movement in this game. 20-cent move toward the Astros. We also saw movement upward on the total, up to 11 flat. Once again, Houston open 180, up to minus 200. Total open 9.5, up to 11 flat. 74% are leaning Houston, 55% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Tigers are plus 175 at home. Houston minus $1.25 on the run line. Wade Miley for the Stros, Carpenter for the Tigers. Miley's 3-2 with a 3.18 ERA. Houston's also second in runs scored, first in hits on average, and first in hits allowed. Defense, well, they're just defense. Detroit, they're scoring just 3.4 runs per contest on average. Give me the Astros minus 1.5 in the under, 11 runs in that game. Next matchup, Cards. Braves, 720 Atlanta. The Cards open minus 105, total at 9. 15-cent move towards St. Louis, and movement downward on the total, down to 8.5. Once again, the Cardinals open $1.05 up to minus 120. Total open 9, down to 8.5. 54% are leaning Atlanta. 62% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Braves are plus 110 on the money line. St. Louis plus 130 on the run line. We have Flaherty for the Cardinals. Fultonavich for the Braves. Fultonavich is 0-2 with a 5.94 ERA. The Braves are also 27th in walking batters, and they've dropped 7 out of their last 10 at home. The Cardinals on the other side are 5th in hits and 8th in walks. And total-wise, St. Louis 8-1 to the over in their last 9 in Atlanta at SunTrust. If you're into historical trends, give me the Cardinals minus 120 and the over 8.5. Next game, Angels, Twins. That is going to be a 7:40 Eastern first pitch. Now, taking a look at this game, I think that I'm going to take Minnesota minus 125 and the under 9 in that game. Next matchup, Texas, Kansas City. Give me the Rangers plus 1.5 and the over 10 runs in that matchup there. Next game, Pittsburgh, Arizona. 9:40 Eastern first pitch in Arizona. The Diamondbacks open the betting as the $1.40 favorite. Total at 9. Not a whole lot of movement in this one. Just, well, we're looking at about a 10-cent move toward the Diamondbacks up to 150. So once again, the D-backs, not the D-bags, the D-backs open 140 up to minus 150. Totals at 9. 66% are leaning Arizona. 58% shaded toward the under. Right now, Pittsburgh's plus 135 on the money line. D-bags plus 130 on the run line. Musgrove for the Buccos. Weaver for the D-bags. Musgrove's 1-4 with a 4.45. No, that's completely wrong. Let's try that again. Musgrove for the Pirates. 1-4 with a 4.65 ERA. Weaver for the D-backs. 3-1 with a 2.98 ERA. Arizona's second in hits, third in home walks allowed. Pittsburgh's 26th in road scoring. They also lost their last 9 straight against Arizona. Now, total-wise, Pittsburgh's 8-3 to the over in their last 11. Arizona 9-4 to the over in their last 13, taking on Pittsburgh. If you're into historical trends, give me the Diamondbacks minus 150 and the over. 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Blue Jays, Giants. 9:45 Eastern first pitch. Toronto opened the betting as the 105 favorite. Total at 8. Nickel move toward Toronto. Movement downward on the total. 110, 7.5. Once again, the Blue Jays open minus 105 up to minus 110. Total open 8 down to 7.5. 52% are leaning Blue Jays, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Giants are plus 102 on the money line. Toronto plus 155 on the run line. We have Trent Thornton projected for the Blue Jays. We have Vincent projected for the Giants. Now, Trent Thornton's 0-4 with a 5.06 ERA for Toronto. Vincent comes into today's game with a 2.25 ERA for San Francisco. The Giants are 5th in home walks allowed. Toronto's second to last in scoring. And when it comes to the total, we're looking at a Giants team who's 71% to the under in their last 7, taking on Toronto. Give me the Giants plus 102 and the under 7.5 in that game. Next matchup, A's. Mariners, 10:10 Eastern first pitch in Seattle. Another good old-fashioned flip of the lines in this one. Oakland opened the betting as the $1.05 favorite, total at 9. And since this one opened up, we saw a 25-cent move toward the Athletics. They're now minus 120. So once again, Oakland opened plus 105 up to minus 120. Totals at 9. 53% are leaning Seattle, 76% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Mariners are plus $1 on the money line. Oakland plus 140 on the run line. We have Anderson for the Athletics, Leak for the Mariners. Oakland's won just 5 out of 19 away from home this year. They're also second to last in runs allowed on the road. Give me the home dog in this one. I like Seattle plus $1 in the over 9 runs in that matchup. Next and final game for the show. Let's try that again. Next and final game for the show. It is going to be Padres, Dodgers, 10-10 Los Angeles. The Dodgers open the betting as the $1.50 favorite, total at 7.5. We're seeing a 10-cent move toward Los Angeles and movement downward on the total. Minus 160 and 7 flat. Once again, LA open 150 up to minus 160. Total open 7.5 down to 7 flat. 64% of the consensus is leaning toward Los Angeles. 65% shaded toward the under. Right now the Padres are plus 145 on the money line. Dodgers plus 135 on the run line. We have Chris Paddock probable for the Padres. Clayton Kershaw probable for the Dodgers. Now Chris Paddock is 3-1 with a 1.55 ERA for San Diego. Clayton Kershaw 2-0 with a 3.31 ERA for the Dodgers. But San Diego's third in walking batters. They're 12-8 away from home, so really not putting a whole lot of guys on base, not giving a whole lot of guys free passes. Meanwhile, the Dodgers on the other side, they're pitching, well, they're striking batters out just 8.5 times per contest at home, which is actually at the bottom of the barrel in Major League Baseball. Give me the Padres plus 1.5 and the under 7 runs in that game. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me. Once again, I got to remind you to check me out on my website, patreon.com/BrockPage. I also want to thank you guys for commenting in the comment section. I try to get to each and every one of them. I try to respond to them. And of course, I try to give you guys a shout out, which it seems like everybody's liking. So if you want me to continue to do the shout outs, let me know and I will continue to do that. But once again, guys, the Patreon site doing excellent right now. 4-1 in our last 5 daily best plays. That's 80%. We're also 6-2 in our last 8 best friends plays. That's 75%. And we are 7-1 in our last 8 NHL plays on Patreon. You're hurting yourself each and every day. You're not subscribed. Go to patreon.com/BrockPage and at least check it out. There's plenty of free content there. Link is in the description section below. The hyperlink for that website is in the description section below. Once again, if you see any trolls out there, report them, block them, get them out of here. There's only one Brock page, so click on the icon. If you see videos and subscribers, that is me. If you click on the icon and you see no videos, no subscribers, that ain't me. All right? It ain't me. And if you see those trolls, just ask them personal questions like, what are you doing? What are you doing? How old are you? When's your birthday? They won't be able to come up or muster up with an answer. So anyway, I think we're not really worried about them. I think we got the trolls under control, but if you see any more popping up, man, let's bust them. Let's get them down. Let's mow them down. Troll busters. But anyway, just want to thank you for tuning in today. I really hope you enjoyed all this free content, free information. Best of luck to you today. I hope you win a lot of money or just enjoy the games. But most importantly, don't forget to check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage.